What is going on, everyone? Let's Square. We're going to do some stock analysis on Square and see what the returns were since back in 2015 when it IPO'd. Now, just in the interest of full disclosure, I actually did invest in Square's IPO back in 2015, and I invested at $13.50 a share. Recently, it just crossed, as of November 2020, 5 years later, it crossed the $200 a share mark. So I've done pretty well, and I really, 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 really love this company. I've held on to it the entire time. I have not sold a single one of my shares. And let's look at the stock of Square and its analysis as far as the income statement, balance sheet, and the returns. So if you saw in my Tesla video, this is Morningstar, and this is a great place to start out doing some research on stocks, especially when it comes to the trailing returns. How well does a stock do compared to others in its sector? So for Square, it's like a fintech stock, as well as how well does the stock do compared to the overall index. So as we can see right here, Square year to date is up 240%. Others in the fintech sector are only up 37%, and the overall index that it's being benchmarked against is up 16%. So if we look at versus the sector, Square is up 203% compared to the sector. So all it is how is Square doing year to date versus the minus the sector, and that's how much it's up, obviously. But that's how much it's up. It's up almost 203% above what the normal sector stock is doing that it's compared to, as well as it's up 224% compared to the actual index. And as we can see on a 5 year basis, especially, but 1 year in, it's triple digits above sector and index, and even 3 to 5 years in, it is still huge against the index and others in its sector. That is crazy to see these kinds of numbers. These are literally like Tesla kind of numbers. So we are not going to see any kind of slowdown, I don't think, anytime soon for Square. I think that Square is a monster. It was just announced today, November 25th, that they're actually buying Credit Karma's individual tax return service. So, like for you and me, if we need help with taxes through Credit Karma, Square is buying that business off of them. So that's a huge. They're trying to grow. They're hungry. It's a hungry business, and they're just trying to grow even more. And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. So with that, let's get into the financials. We're going to start with the income statement, and as you can see, since 2014, when Square had $850 million in revenue, it has grown every single year. As of 2019, they ended the year with $4.7 billion in revenue. About 5 years later, and $4 billion compared to the first time that they had reported back in 2014. That's huge. This is why this is considered a growth stock. You are supposed to see with a growth stock rising revenues like none other. Like it is supposed to be exponentially always rising. That's what makes it a great growth stock, and it definitely fits that bill. Now we can actually see, if we scroll down, that Square has started to become, as of 2019, profitable. And that was something that when I invested back in 2015, even its IPO, it was not intended to be profitable so soon. Like you do not know, especially with a growth stock that's in technology, how and when it's going to produce a profit. Never mind, it actually did it after it IPO'd in 2015, December 2015. It actually became profitable. Like I said, about 4 years later. That's pretty remarkable. That's pretty good. That's it kept uh, losing less and less money as the years went on. As of 2018, they had a negative $38 million profit, and then all of a sudden in 2019, like that is huge. That's way, 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 way more than just even breaking even, hitting zero. So good for Square on that. And we're also going to look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet is something that we're going to analyze a little bit as far as what is the company's position liquidity wise. So if we see that current assets is currently 3.2 billion as of 2019 and current liabilities is about 1.6 billion, they have double what they need if things were to hit the fan and they needed money and they needed cash and they needed infusion right away. Square does not have to borrow. Square does not have to, go back into the market and renegotiate shares or re-up trying to sell more shares out in the open market at a higher valuation. They don't have to do that. They are perfectly fine the way that they are, and that is a testament to a strong CFO. The CFO actually did leave to go to Nextdoor, but that's another story. They had a strong CFO, and she put them in a really great position going forward. So that's what we like to see. As far as the cash flow statement goes, we are going. Oh, by the way, I'm using MarketBeat. This is a great website that will show you all the financials of a company if you just put in the ticker symbol. So just a heads up on that. So if we look at the cash flow, because as we saw back in on the income statement, the net income was $375 million. So that's what always starts at the top of a cash flow statement, if you didn't know that. And if we go to the very bottom of the cash flow statement, we see that they are also cash flow positive. Like Square's doing really well. Not only do they buy back their own debt, they also, they're cash flow positive. Like that's an amazing thing. And that's actually all I want to talk about with the cash flow statement. I'm gonna head right into what are the returns of Square, like monetary wise. What would you see if you had invested in Square? So if you had invested in Square $10,000 back on its IPO, again back in December 2015, you actually today, as of October 2020, would have $118,000. That is huge. Over 5 years, your $10,000 investment would have grown, almost 12 times over. So compound annual growth rate is 66%. Again, these are like Tesla-like numbers. They're just so consistent, so strong, and it's a huge, huge thing towards it being a growth stock, and it's a huge testament towards it being a growth stock that it can control this kind of, return over the long term. And so if we look at the long term, year by year, if you've invested in Square, like again, back in 2015, you've so far over 5 years, you have not seen a dip in a given year. So if you were to invest in the start of 2017, by the end of 2017, you would have seen 154% return on your money. That's huge. That's really big. And 2 out of the 5 years where you see triple digits, like that's even better than Tesla in some cases. I just keep talking about Tesla because it's really easy to compare the two with like how much they're growing and continue to grow, and they're not going to stop growing because they keep expanding their business. So again, I just wanted to show you what the final balance of a portfolio would look like if you had invested in Square and what the returns would have been too. All very exciting stuff. Hope that you guys do like this video, like actually like it on my YouTube channel. And please subscribe too if you like seeing other stock analysis. If you want to see me go through some other numbers you've been curious about, or if you have any questions about me investing in Square, why I invest in Square, do you like Square? Let me know in the comments. See ya.